Peter, welcome to Wealth Talk.
Oh, thank you for inviting me to speak to you, Christian.
You're very welcome. Now, Peter, you joined with your wife, Monica, the 7 Steps to Wealth program 4 months ago now. That time's gone really quickly, hasn't it?
Honestly, it feels like maybe 6 weeks. I can't believe it's already been 4 months.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing, obviously, how you've been getting on since joining. But just take me back to, obviously, that point when you did decide to join. What were some of the reasons why you thought the program would help you?
So just to describe a little bit about my background, I come from a corporate background, so always working for somebody else within operations. I was an operations manager. And then I read this little book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that kind of set me onto the entrepreneurial path. I chose property as my strategy. So I received tons of education on property. But what I really realized, and thinking back about Rich Dad Poor Dad, is the fact that I really need to increase my financial education. And I was looking for providers out there, and I came across WealthBuilders and listening to Wealth Talk. And it's really through listening to you guys a lot and just asking some other members that really made me think that this is what I need to join.
Yeah. We were just talking, Peter, weren't we? Saying that, we've been putting out masterminds every week. There's been lots of content. And of course, now we've got wealth coaches as well. So tell us a little bit over the last 4 months, Peter, what are some of the things that you've taken action on so far?
The thing that I like most about this program is its systematic approach. So it's kind of leading you in nicely, working on the foundation, getting all those things right. So we started with looking at our debits. That was the first thing. Looking at our personal finances, finding any lost money. That is where we discovered a couple of lost pensions. So we were really pleased about that. That led on to opening a SSAS pension. We now do balance statement, profit and loss statements on our personal finances and trying to get all these things to optimize as much as possible. And then as the program progressed, it started to going on to the pillar that you can choose. And the pillar that we chose is to continue on property, but also add the business pillar. So we're in the process of just spinning the wheel of property more, but also learning from you guys how to effectively implement the business pillar.
Yeah. So you mentioned you came across some old pensions, Peter. What kind of figures did that add to you?
Well, considering that it's lost money, it may not sound like a lot, but I can make this money work for myself. So we came across a couple of just part-time jobs that we did way back, and that added up to 20,000. I actually couldn't believe it was that much.
Wow. 20,000. Well, that's pretty good. That's not bad. And how long did it take you? How difficult was that process of just kind of making a few phone calls or something?
Well, you guys referred me to Paul Brooks in WealthBuilders, and I spoke with him a little bit, and he made me a little bit wise on how to find these lost pensions. And honestly, it was less than an hour.
Wow, £20,000 in an hour. Well, that's great. So well done. Good leverage on time there, Peter. And you mentioned about continuing to focus on the property pillar, which is your primary pillar, and turning the wheel. So we say turning the wheel is really, the process of following a strategy and then generating either some capital or some cash flow at the end of it. So I think you've turned another wheel since joining. Have you? You've purchased another property? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. We purchased another property, and that's going under refurbishment at the moment. We're about halfway through with that. And only this week we got another offer accepted.
Wow.
So spin that wheel one more time.
That's great. And how is that impacting your recurring income? Is that moving you now towards one of your financial targets?
It is. That is one of the first things I think we did, was to set our financial security target. So with this one and the one that we're buying now, I should be okay to be able to reach that target. It was my goal to, within the 1 year that I'm with you guys, to reach my financial security target.
Wow, that's really, really great. Well, I'm pleased to hear that, Peter. Well done to you both for that. And in terms, I know it's still early days with the program, but have there been any other additional benefits? Anything that perhaps, you weren't expecting when you joined, but something that has been a nice surprise?
For me, it was the holistic approach. So that's the difference between just attending a property course. You learn all about property, or let's say you attend IP course and you learn all about intellectual property. But the benefit of Wealth Builders is that you get a flavor of each of the 7 pillars, as you mentioned, and that has been really beneficial. Certain things may not benefit me now, but it kind of plant the seed for the future. With the mastermind sessions that we've done, I've learned quite a bit about investments, about intellectual property, and I can see how that in the future will be a cog that click in.
Yeah, definitely. All about focus, isn't it? And just making sure that, as you say, you get to your security figure, and then from there you can start to look at what else is available. So, Peter, really appreciate sharing today. Well done to yourself and Monica. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian, and thank you for inviting me.